Hey, I'm Ashe, and you're listening to ICRT FM 100.
Listeners and viewers of ICRT, I am Joey, and today we've once again reached out to an artist from either halfway or all the way around the world. And I think she's halfway. She's in California right now. So we have Ashe. Hello, welcome to ICRT.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
We're good. We're here in Taiwan, kind of a safe haven on a little island, a perfect little bubble from all of the going-ons around the world. But you are in the heat of it, right? You're in California. Whereabouts in California?
Yeah, I'm in Hollywood.
Ooh.
I'm in the deep pit of it. But honestly, I mean, we're being really safe and being really careful, so it's not too crazy.
Okay, good stuff. Good to hear. I heard that you went to school in Berkeley, which is in Boston. Now, for someone who was born and raised in Cali, San Jose, how was that weather change? And it's pretty cold in the winter there, right?
Yeah, it was good, though. I think I needed to it's like about 3,000 miles away, California to Boston.
Yeah.
I needed to get away from home for a little while. And, yeah, I mean, Boston was the best experience. And obviously I was in a music school where I was surrounded by music all the time. It was the best experience ever. And, yeah, the first time it snowed on me, I was like just freaked out, but it was awesome.
Okay, so I have to ask you something because I know that you studied music production and contemporary writing, and I heard somewhere that your grad project was writing an orchestra or kind of an orchestral arrangement. So I'm wondering if that work is still somewhere available online.
Whoa, I never thought about that. You know, it's probably on I still have the big computer I had when I was in college. I bet MP3 and like a bunch of like orchestral scores. You're making me think. I'll have to look for it.
Okay.
It'd be cool. To
Yeah, I mean, so as a fan of yours and as a fan of classical music, I am wondering if you would ever consider rearrange that composition and maybe release it as a song.
That would be pretty cool. Well, if it was, I don't remember if it was any good.
It's a grad project. I don't think anyone ever likes their grad project.
A senior project in college, but I remember it being really special. So I don't know. That would be a cool idea. Yeah.
I've always wondered, what would Ashe's music sound like with a bit of orchestra in it. But okay, let's get back to talking why we're here today. You have a song that is currently out as of last week, more than a week ago. But to paint the full picture, I think we need to go back to mid and late 2019 when you dropped the two-part EPs, The Moral of the Story, 4 tracks each. But okay, it's part 1 that had the title track, Moral of the Story, and recently you did it with Niall Horan for the remix. Now this is essentially a song that was inspired during more of a lull in your life. So it was soon after your divorce that you wrote this whole 2-part EP. So my first question is, when did you, and what process of the grieving process did you write to the EP?
Ooh, good question. It was, I mean, I think the only answer is all of the phases.
Makes sense, yeah.
All of the phases of grief, just because when I first started writing those EPs, it was Moral of the Story Chapter 1 and 2, I was maybe a month or two post, like, literally, not divorced, but just, like, filed the papers.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, off the heels of, like, just moved out of my house that we had bought together. And so, yeah, life was completely unstable and crazy. And so I was probably in, like, denial and acceptance and anger. And, yeah, I was definitely all over the place.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people tend to talk about the 5 steps or the 5 stages as if they're supposed to be chronological, but it's not, is it? It's kind of back and forth all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think once people hit acceptance, you're like, okay, I've arrived, I'm good now, you know? And it just so doesn't work. Well, I mean, the heart and the body and the soul doesn't work like that. And, yeah, I mean, I wrote Moral of the Story You know, very much in the acceptance phase, very much like, this is better for me. I'm so grateful. Like, I'm better for it. And then, you know, the single that just came out, Save Myself, is way more like, I am still pissed as hell. You know?
I totally understand that. And I think anyone who's ever had a significant romantic relationship does understand that, you know, one day you think that you've accepted everything, you've had closure, and then the next day we wake up, you're like, I hate your guts. How can I still feel that way? All right, so yeah, let's talk about the new song, Save Myself. You say it's in one of the earlier stages of the process, and I think we can hear it, and you're reflecting on how I could have saved myself from all of this. But do you still feel that? Do you feel like you regret having gone through this relationship?
I mean, regret is a strong word. I don't know if I would so much define it as regret as more, I would have done it differently, you know, and I hear a lot of people go, yo, you know, like, I am where I am. I wouldn't have done anything differently. And I was like, ooh, you know, it was a really unhealthy, you know, it was bad. It was a relationship that was point blank bad for me, you know, and in the end, I learned so much for it. But if I had the chance, you know, I would totally have done it differently. And I think that's the place it comes from. I don't really live in like a state of anger or regret, but, you know, you'll wake up on the weird side of the pillow some days and just be like, oh, screw that, you know?
Yeah, there are lessons we learn in life that, I guess made us who we are, but we didn't have to hit rock bottom to learn some of those lessons, to be honest. The song Moral of the Story was featured in a kind of a teens drama Netflix special that released earlier this year, I think in February. To All the Boys, P.S. I Still Love You. It was a very somber moment for the movie, and I like that's when the song comes in, and I think it matches up perfectly. So from teenage drama to, I guess, teen heartthrob, you decided to jump on a collaboration with Niall Horan, but I heard it was a former coworker who made this connection for you, right?
Yeah, I love that teenage drama to heartthrob. That was a nice connection you made. Well, it was a good friend of mine. She worked at the publishing company I'm signed to, and she was always sort of rooting for me and believed in. And you need people like that in the music industry, especially. You need those few people who are like, I've always got your back, and I'm rooting for you. And so she left the publishing company, and I was like, that's it. My career's over. It's like, she's like, and she's leaving me. And then sure enough, she gets to Capitol Records. She becomes the vice president of A&R, and just becomes this really important person at Capitol Records. And sure enough, you know, chooses Moral of the Story to introduce to Niall. Or he had already heard the record, but she brought up the idea singing on it. And we must have, Niall and I think, were on a FaceTime within like a day or two of that, and totally just got along so well, and we're cracking jokes and making fun of each other right out the gate. And it's so crazy. I have like a friend for life.
Thank you, and that's really helpful to hear that. We do have good conversations. We fight a lot, but we fight about things just to help us understand each other more, and that's a message out to everyone listening to Ashe, her music, her new singles, while you're listening to, you know, this phase of her life, which for the time being is quite a large portion of it about a relationship that may not have worked out for her. When you go into a new relationship, these are the words that we want you to really listen to, ones that Ashe just gave me. So thank you so much for that. And we do really enjoy the new single and the music video of Save Myself. Any teaser for what's coming up next before I let you go?
I'm finishing my first ever album right now.
Okay.
I'm really excited about, and the music just sounds like nothing I hear anyone else doing. So it feels really unique and exciting, and Yeah, and we'll be living in Save Myself and Moral of the Story land for a little while longer, because we just put out Save Myself, but probably a single or two more, and yeah, hopefully the album soon.
Okay, Ashe, thank you so much for joining us here on ICRT. Have a great rest of the night, and we'll see more music and more appearances from you soon.
Oh, thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you. Thank you for having me. All right, bye. See ya.